Hi, so in this tutorial, we're going to talk on Dart operators. So when you're programming, you use things like plus, addition, you check for if things are greater than, less than, equal to. So in this example, we have a variable called questions, and it's of the type bool. Bool is for boolean. A boolean can either be true or false. So now I gave it an expression 2 is greater than 3. So now this boolean can either be true or false. What do you think is going to be? Yes, as you guessed, it is false because 2 is not greater than 3. So if I say 2 is equals to 2, what do you think is going to have? Now don't use single. Use double equal to check for equality. If you want to use single equal to sign, that is assignment, like saying x is equal to 2. But if you want to say x is 2, you use double equal to. If you want to check for if the value x is equal to 2. Yes, you can. I guess you will have experienced that if you have programmed in other languages. Now, apart from this greater than or less than, you have other logical operators like or. I guess you did logic gates sometime, but in case you didn't do or you can't remember, I'll give you a refresher here. Now, how or works is that if any of these values are true, the whole expression is true. So 2 is less than 4 and 2 is less than 5. So the whole expression is true. But even if I say 2 is less than 4 and 2 is greater than 5, it's still true because 2 is less than 4. 2 is not greater than 5, but at least one of these expressions, which is 2 is less than 4, is true. So if any of these expressions are true, then the whole expression is true. And to do an or, you use this double, or like call that, this slash in the middle. So you also have other operators and. So it's saying for and operators, that is double ampersand, you have to have all the expressions to be true for the whole expression to be true. So if I say 2 is less than 4 and 2 is less than 5, yes, that's true. But once I say 2 is greater than 4, that means only one of the expression is true, which is 2 is less than 5, right? But 2 is not greater than 4. So because that is bad, the whole expression is wrong. Now, or is like saying, give me this or this. Any of them that is true, everything is true. And the saying, everything must be true for your whole expression to be true. So sometimes you might want to just get the integer value of a division. For example, 5 divided by 2. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. But what if I didn't want the decimal 0.5? I just wanted the answer 2. Or look at 5 divided by 3. So here you have 5 divided by 2, 2.5. In order to make me get just the integer, that is, give me just the whole number division, forget about the remainder, I add the symbol in front. And there you have it, you get your whole number 2. So for the use cases, yeah, that sometimes you just want the whole number division. You don't want the total to the last decimal place value. So you could use this to your own discretion in your own solving and problems. So now, what if you actually wanted the remainder? That's where we use modulus. That is that symbol that looks like percentage. So sometimes what you want is actually the remainder. So 5 divided by 2, the remainder is 1 because 2 goes in 2 places. That is 2, 2, that is 4, remaining 1. So 5 modulus 2 is 1. 6 modulus 2 is 0 because there is no remainder. So the next operator we're going to look at now is the is operator. But before that, I want to show you something you can do in that, and that is to get the runtime type of a variable. So let's say we have a variable name and it's a string because it's John. I want to get the runtime type. We just say name.runtime type and we print it, and we have the answer, which is a string. Now if it was an integer, it will show us yes, it's an integer. Now where we have to check for the type of a variable, we can use the operator is for is. Is a keyword in that. So let's say we have a boolean check. We'll call this check and is of a type bool, and we say name is string. Now what does this do? What this does is, if name is a string, it returns true, else it returns false. So if name is a string, it's true. Yes, there we have it. If not, it's false. If we say name is int, because name is not an integer, it's false. Name is a string. Now we can use this in different programs. Let's say you want to check for the type of a variable. When we go on to classes, we can check if an object is of a particular class type. So this is very useful, and we can just use it by using the keyword is. You have another keyword as. You can use that also, and I'm going to show you how to use as right away. So for the as operator, sometimes you wish to perform some operations directly without checking using if statements. So here I'm going to say name as string, and then I perform an operation which usually is performed on strings. To uppercase is an operation which we perform on strings to like make it caps lock. So now what it's saying is that bring name as a string and perform this on it. It doesn't know that I've assigned 2 to name. Now if it checks name and it finds that it's an integer, it throws an error. Now name as string is the same thing as saying if name is string, do this. So if I was using if name is string, I'll check if it is a string and then I do it to uppercase. But doing name as string goes straight away, make it uppercase. So if it's not a string, yeah, you get an error. So sometimes in code, you want to control how your code executes. So let's say we have a variable called name. You have another variable called extra name. Now name has a value John, extra name has a value James. Now we want to assign and change the value of the variable name. So we equate name to extra name. But if you look at it closely in line 6, there are 2 question marks in front of the equal sign. Now, when we print name, it still tells us John, even though we said assign extra name to name. So name is supposed to be James. But what happens here is that those 2 question marks says if name is not null, then don't assign it any value. Name will only be assigned the value on the right side if name is null. So for example, if name had no value, if it was null, then it will have the value James. So let's remove this value John. So remember that when a variable does not have any value, it's null by default. So now if I print name, what you will see is James. That's double question mark. That's the function. It checks if the value is null. If it's not null, it ignores the assignment operation. So if I assign name a name Lemuel, it will no longer print James, it will print Lemuel because it checks, is the name null? If it has a value, then don't bother assigning it any other value. So now it's going to print Lemuel. So that's that for that operator. You could use it in different scenarios. So sometimes in some programs, you want to have a default value for some variables. So for example, when you come to Facebook, if you don't supply your picture, you actually see a default avatar there for you. So let's say you want to use that for a name. So let's say we ask for the person's name. If the person does not give us his or her name, we will call the person a guest. So this program collects the name, checks if the name is null. If the name is null, it returns guest, else it returns the name. So if I print the function and I use null, it gives me guest. If I use Lemuel, it gives me my name. So there you have it. Now what I want to do is replace this with a simpler expression. I'm going to use a lambda expression in that. And I'm going to use the double question mark sign to check if the name is null. If the name is null, return guest, else return the name. This is a simpler version of the function you saw earlier. It performs the same way and it does the same thing, just that it's written in one line. So if I make it null, it prints guest, else it prints the name. That's it. This can be expanded. But to explain this, this is not only used for this scenario. You can use it for other functions that just return a particular answer, or you can write it in one line. Let me explain. Perhaps you have a function that you want to use to return you want to multiply a number. So let's say you have a function that gets a number, multiplies it times 2 and returns the answer. You can write it like this. So now if I print and I say times 4, it gets the number 4, multiplies it times 2 and returns the answer using just that one line. So you have your answer 8. So that's how it works. So the same way it works, just that in this scenario, it checks if the name is null. If it's null, it returns guest. If it's not null, it returns the same name it was given. You can also expand it and use the return statement as we are used to. But that what I showed earlier using the lambda expression is a shorter version. So you print it, it still does the same thing. So in our short Q&A session, I'm going to ask you a few questions here. So looking at this code, I have a name, Joseph, and a default name, guest member, and I print name. What should this program print out? So yes, the program prints out Joseph. It prints out Joseph because name is not null, it has a value. So when I assign its default value, that double question mark checks if name is null. If name was null, it will print guest member. Just like now, if I remove the name Joseph and I print it, it's going to print guest member.